Hey guys, it's day 67 of Devlog, and today we are going to have a look at this asset from the marketplace that was free yesterday. The one with the effects. Okay, first of all, I did do a little bit last night, and we basically tidied some stuff up. Okay, if one remembers the mess of spaghetti, I have tidied this all up. Okay, if you remember last night, this was an absolute nightmare. Okay, so I have tidied that one up. And I believe I also did I think it was the work. Yeah. Not perfect, but a lot better than it was. Okay. And to give a comparison, this exact same code is in sleep, right? And that is untidied. So in actual fact, the first thing we could do here is tidy this one up. Right? How about that for a good idea? Right, now this is NPC master object. That is not. That is. So I can put that in there, remove that. Okay, and that's decided to delete that, but that's okay. We are going to tidy this all up once we're complete. But in the meantime, that is the master. So we can remove that and put that. Okay. Now this can go all together. Okay. We can straighten that up. And now what we want to do or now what we can do is, what have we got over here? I've got the interaction master object. Okay, this is the NPC master object, and this is the NPC master object. So basically we can join okay, that's not the right thing then. NPC master object. Interaction. Right, first of all what we'll do is we'll remove that Okay. Blackboard component. NPC master object. NPC master object. Right. So this can basically go here. Right. So we've tidied that bit up. Okay. We can delete this and join this up. Okay. We can tidy this up a bit. Okay. So what else have we got here? What we want to do is we want to lift that up so that we can see what's going on. Okay. So that can come out of there. Can go in there. Right, this can go here. This blackboard can come down out the way. We can move this. Then this can go to here. Plug that back in. Okay. This is the blackboard, so this can come down out the way. Right, keep that nice and clean. And basically tidy this stuff up a bit. Right. Now, this can go to here. Then we can have our red going here. Which is a bit tidier. Straighten that up a bit. We can delete that, and that can go there. And we can drag that to there. That keeps that tidier. And that's all a bit better. Not saying it's perfect, but it's better. Go to reroute. Now we go and straighten everything up. Straighten to reroute. Oh, Okay. I can go there. Delete this. Straighten this up a bit. I can go like that. Then straighten that one. Straighten that one. There we go. That's a bit better, I think. And straighten that one. Now on the other one, what I did was I dragged these to down the way, but for this doesn't really matter. It's a lot cleaner than it was, and not so many connections coming out of like here. We can move these that way a bit. Okay, so that's how I go about tidying things up. It wasn't me that done the original blueprint for this, so you know, normally it's easier to do it if you're building it up, but hey ho. Right, so we'll do a save all. We'll grab a sip of coffee, and then let's have a look at our asset. And see if I can remember how to do this. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we have our character body FX. Okay. And it gets added to a skeletal mesh. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to do it so we're going to go to wildlife, we're going to go to something that we've not got at the moment, right? So let's say a wolf, right? Meshes. And the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to create a blueprint, and this is just going to be a test. So this is probably, hi Bionox, how you doing? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to create the wolf and say particle. Okay, now we might actually move some of this code if we like what we have done. Okay. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a skeletal mesh, and it's not going to do anything, right? Our wolf isn't going to actually do anything because we don't want it to, basically. So we'll add a skeletal mesh, wolf, that will do. Compile that. And then we'll add our Niagara system. I'm good, mate. Hope you're well. Right, and in here we're going to say fire, and I believe it is body fire. Right, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop our wolf in, and we're going to open it up again, and we're going to say attach to parent. And that'll do us for now. We're going to switch off auto activate. Then we are going to open up our pawn. Right, I'm just going to do a button so that we can activate this and then test it. Right, so we're going to do that for now. Then we're going to say get actors of class. Right. And it's going to be wolf particle. And then we're going to say for each then we're going to say Niagara and activate. Okay. Compile that. So now, quite simply, if we press play, right, there's our wolf, and if we press A, bang. Okay. Now, what we probably want to do here, just for a laugh, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this up to here, remembering that these are all my like little test things where I can press things and something particular happens. We should really pop in a flip-flop here so that we can switch it off again if we want. Right. So A goes to there, We're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to duplicate them. As I said, this code is merely for testing purposes. We're going to be extending on it though. Deactivate. Right, compile that. And now press play again. Okay, so there is our wolf. We can switch him on and switch off, switch on, switch off. Fine. Cool. Right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our wolf. Right. Then we're going to go to this, browse to this. Then we're going to duplicate it. And we'll just call it Fire EX, right? I've been programming for 40 years, mate, so I didn't really need to learn much. It's not any different from any other language. It's just you're learning the syntax of a blueprint, right? It's just like learning new syntax for a different language, be it Java or C++ or Visual Basic or, you know, InterDev or whatever. So, yeah, it's just learning the syntax and what the nodes are that relate to normal programming. So hopefully that answers your question. Right, so what we're doing here is we're getting this body fire, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to drop that in there. Okay, now then we're going to open it up. And what we're going to do is, now this is the interesting thing, right? This is what I thought, right? This skeletal mesh, okay? Why, thank you, Bionox. And may I ask you a question? Why do you ask? Are you just learning yourself and want some reference to things, or whatever? But the point is, right, that when I brought in this, I realised that this is only going to work with skeletal mesh, right? But what we can do is we can probably extend this and do a different version where we actually change this from a skeletal mesh to a static mesh, right? So and the reason for doing that would be that obviously we could then set fire to the house, right? At the moment, this isn't going to work with a static mesh, right? Now, I'm not sure if all of these only work with the skeletal mesh, but I think that is the case. And if that is the case, right? For example, this one, right? If we have a look at the rocks, you'll see once again it's a skeletal mesh. Okay? So, as I've said to you guys before, right? When you get your free assets, don't think of them as what they are. Think of them as what they could be if you change them around a little. For example, I don't want this to work like this as a constant spawn rate, okay? What I really want is these to basically build up, right? To start small and then gradually build up. Okay, now whether I do that in the actual particle system or not, I'm not familiar enough with the particle system to make it work like that, right? But what I do know is I can certainly do it in the Unreal Engine blueprints, right? So if we add a new one, right? It can be, I mean, the problem with learning blueprints is, number one, you do need a basic understanding of programming, For example, you need to know what variables are, you need to know what loops are, you need to know what arrays are, and all the rest of it. If you already know basic programming, then the blueprints become very, very simple, because all you're doing is writing the code but in a visual way. Right, so what we're going to do is a new float. Right, so if we do it as flames, so we could say flame spawn rate. Okay, now then what we can do is, in our spawn rate, we don't say, you see this is a hard-coded value of 1,000, right? Now what we really want to do is we could put a curve, right, where it starts off at 0 and then goes up to 1,000 or something, right? Or we can do this controlled variable, flame spawn rate. Okay, and then if we say flame spawn rate, it will use this value here. Okay, so now we're using our user created value. So you'll notice now, right, that when we press play, and we look at our wolf and we press 8, nothing happens, right, because the value is 0. Okay, so you guys should be thinking of this, right? See, when you download your assets and stuff, you should be looking at how you can extend them, right, to do what you want to do. As I said, you might look at an asset in the store and you think, oh, that's so close to what I want, but it's not really what I want. Well, it probably is close enough if you've got the experience and, you know, the knowledge to do it, is to change it so that you can actually, you know, bend it to your will. So now that we've got that, what I can now do is go into the wolf, right, we go to the code, and actually we do it in the pawn for the moment. Right, now this code will all get moved, right, but I'm just testing things out here to make sure it works. Right, so we can get our Niagara, right, then we can set parameter, float parameter. Okay, so this is from our, remember, this is from our Niagara system, and we need this name. So it's flame spawn rate, right? So all we do here is we type in, if I can stop mucking about, is flame spawn rate. Okay, and then we can basically put in a number. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit more with this in a little minute, but bear with me. So what we'll do is we'll put in just a stupid number, 10,000, right? Just to prove that it works. Now this should be like flames coming out everywhere, okay? But you'll notice, right, we've got nothing at the moment. There's our wolf. We press 8, and there you go. right? Again, if we put this down to 0, we'll get nothing. Okay, press 8. And don't know why it did that. It should have been 0. Did I not compile that or something? Or something weird going on? Right. That should be... I shouldn't do that. Right, let's just make sure it's going hitting that. Maybe it's because of this. Is it because of this? Maybe it's because I didn't save that. Ah. Right. That's probably okay. It's because, right, here's the problem. The problem is that it's spawning 4 different things. Right? It's spawning lava rocks, it's spawning smoke, it's spawning embers, etc, etc. Okay? Now, here's the thing. These are not equal. Okay? You'll notice that the spawn rate for this was 1,000. Okay? The spawn rate for the embers is 550. So that's what you're seeing on the screen. Okay? And the spawn rate for the lava rocks is 80. Okay, so when we scale this down, we need to scale the others down to the same extent. Okay, so how will we do that? Well, let's think about it. What we can do is we can get a variable. Now we're obviously going to end up moving all of this into the wolf or wherever, but for testing purposes we'll just put it here for now. Okay, so with that in mind, I'll just call this TMP in capitals to remind me it's crap. We'll call it spawn rate. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll compile that and we'll do that, except it shouldn't be one of them, it should be a float. There, compile that, we'll default it to 1. Okay, then what we're going to do is, just for a laugh, as I said, title of the we'll call this TL spawn rate. Okay. Then we'll make it 10 seconds. Add a float track, add a key, put that to time 10, value 1, do our other one, time 0, value 0, get it so we can see it, there we go. We'll rename the track as the alpha, which is what it really is. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go into here. Then we're going to duplicate it. And we're going to say embers. Embers spawn rate. And finally, we're going to duplicate that and say lava spawn rate. Okay. Then in here, in spawn rate for embers, right, the first thing we need to know is for every one of these, we need half of these, right? And that's a 12th. Okay, so just remember those numbers. Right, so what we'll do is we'll go back to here. We'll wrap this in a comment and we'll just say 1,550 80, right? Just so that we remember. So, save that for now. Our final one is the lava rock. We get our spawn rate and we change it to lava spawn rate. Right, and we didn't actually change the embers one, so let's do that now. Get spawn rate, then we type in embers spawn rate. Okay, compile that. That should be us. So we're going to move that out the way. In fact, what we'll do is we'll move this right up. Right? And we're going to be doing that, then that. We're going to do that. Okay, then we're going to be doing our timeline. Okay, so it's going to say play from start. then we're going to be setting our 3 values, okay? So next one is Mr. Business. You won't be able to see it. I've already done a widget thing. It is on 1080p, it is actually that. It's just my screen's 4K, so it looks... I'll try and keep it zoomed in as much as I can, right? But if I do this anymore, then it becomes difficult for me to actually do stuff, because my screen space or screen state becomes pretty small, right, if I'm zoomed in this much, right? But hopefully that's better for you, right? So we're going to say embers spawn rate. We're going to duplicate this, right? And finally, yeah, as I said, it's catch-22, rock and hard place, right? It's either you can see it really good or I can see it really good. Doesn't seem to be, as you can see here, I've not got an awful lot of space, even though you know, you guys can see it, whereas you guys can see this, but I need to zoom out so that it, you know, you get what I'm saying. Right, so I'll zoom in again once I've moved this about a bit, right? Right, so basically what we're doing is we're not trying to do this in any particular tidy way, right? Because it's not going to be the finished code. We're just having a play about with it, just to play with this free asset and make changes to it and extend it so that it does things that we want it to do. Right, so the alpha, right, we're going to be using this lots of places. Each place, each of our different, so we're going to be multiplying this, right, each time. Right, for each one. Okay, and this one, remember, is 1,000. Right, this one is 550, and this one is 80. Right, so this is going to give us all our values, right, and this is going to factor them perfectly to what they actually were in the original, right? But we're going to control them with the timeline. Remember, the timeline is going from 0 to 1. Our alpha is going from 0 to 1. Okay? So while that alpha is at 0, we're getting 0 times 1,000, 0 times 550, 0 times 80, which is obviously going to give us 3 zeros, right? But imagine it's now at 0.5, it's going to give us 500, 275, and 40. Okay, so we are basically scaling up each of the different spawn rates at the correct rate, or what we think should be the correct rate anyway. Okay, so now what should happen, if I've done this right, is over 10 seconds the fire should gradually increase on the wolf. That's the effect I'm going for here. Right, so there's our wolf. We hit 8. There's our float parameter, which we now disable. So it starts off small and gradually it increases. Kind of. It's not a simple yes or no. What you got to remember is that blueprints are basically just a visual layer on top of C++, right? Now, when you do it in the end, you can get it to basically translate it to C++. As I said, it's not a simple yes or a no. You need a bit more experience, and then you need to build out your package and then check the options for that, because you can convert it to native C++. Sometimes it doesn't work all the time. As I said, it's not quite as simple an answer as yes or no, right? Right, now, the thing is that our X body fire, right, I want to see this. Right, now, we can't actually do that. You see, I think it's the embers that are causing the issue. Right, I'm going to close this, right, and I'm going to open the original. Okay, I'm going to open the original. Right, now we can see. Now, what I want to know is which of these is the yellow, these embers. I'm guessing it's the embers, right? But what's the embers and what's the flames, right? Right, so flames is good. Embers, I'd say, is far too concentrated. Okay? There's far too many of them. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Busney, that I can't really give you an answer on that. As I said, it's not a simple yes or no. But as you get more into using Unreal Engine and building out your stuff into a package and stuff, you'll get more of a feel of what it's actually doing. And you can, as I said, there's certain things you can do to make it natively build. Yeah, there's too many of them. There's too many and they're flying too far, right? I agree with you. But this is the point, right? This is the whole point. That this is a free asset for this month, right? And even though it might not do exactly what I want right now, if I tweak it, you know, I can basically tweak it a bit and get it to do what I want it to do. And that's what I'm kind of trying to demonstrate here, that I'm not using it the way that the asset is originally done. So as you can see here, right, when we look at our wolf and we switch on the embers, right, the embers are flying far too far and there's too many of them, right? So you can see there that, you know, Now in that case actually what I realised was that I needed to actually, when we did this, was to reset it. Right? But the point here is we want less of these. Right? So let's say we go 200. Right? So we're going to create half the embers that we were actually creating before. Okay, hit 8. And that's actually fine. Now, our problem here, and I know what the problem is, right, is a lot of them are coming out of the head, right, but there's not an awful lot we can do about that. It's because it's picking, or at least I think this is how it's working, right? We can have a look at this again. It's doing this and it's getting the skeletal mesh location, right? But most of the skeletal mesh is made up of the head, right? If we look at the wolf, right, I shouldn't have closed that down, but if we look at the wolf, most of the intricacies of the wolf itself will actually be in the head, right? And that's why we get a lot more particles basically getting it might be hard to see this. Yeah, it's going to be hard to see it. But if we were to look at this wolf, right, actually the best way to do it is look at it in wireframe. But not there, the front. You'll notice that most of the polygons or triangles are in the head section, which is why it's consistently picking the head section, you know. So that's the reason, in case you were wondering, guys, I have watched a few videos on this and played about with Niagara to know that when you do stuff based on the skeletal mesh, it's going to if you're doing like a spawn related to the skeletal mesh, it's going to spawn them more at the places where there's more basically model, there's more detail, right, because there's a lot more triangles here, right? And that's the reason for this. Okay, now I don't know, we can maybe do it by sockets, right, because then the head's only got a socket. It'd be interesting to try it. Let's try it. Right, let's try it and see what it does, shall we? It might work better. Okay, because in theory the sockets might be spread out better. Maybe not. It's an interesting problem to solve. Right, but anyway, if you guys have any questions in the chat, let me know. I'm going to go and grab a cigarette. I shall be about 4 minutes. So check out the description for links to the game's Discord, links to my personal one. It's probably not following the wind, not at this point. But we do have a wind direction, so I could make it do that, right? Yeah, check out the links in the description. Discord, my Patreon, and my previous game on Steam. I shall be back in approximately 4 minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks. Okay guys, we're back, and right, in answer to your question, like, can the wind affect their movement? Yes, and I'll show you how. Right, a quick easy demonstration how is because we have a weather system, right, and it actually does have a wind direction, right? You will notice that in certain directions she puts her hand up to guard her face, right? But if I turn again against the wind, it's fine. She puts her hand down again, okay? So I have the wind direction, okay? So in effect, I could pass this to the ember's movement, right? So that when, let's say, the embers actually move, there's a wind force, and I can pass this into the wind. Okay, so I could basically turn that into a variable, and then I can basically set these vectors. Okay, so at the moment it's basically getting a random, right? So yes, I can do that. Okay, but as I said, this is basically playing around at the moment with our asset. Now the question here is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our FX, okay, then I'm going to go to our fire, okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. In fact, I'm going to copy this one, okay, and then I'll duplicate it, and I'll call it SM for, I'll call it STM for static mesh instead of a skeletal mesh, right? And what we're going to try and do is change this from a skeletal mesh. Actually, this one isn't on the skeletal mesh. It's a sphere location for the flames. Right? Well, that's interesting. Because if I click on that, well, would you believe that? Okay. Okay. If I do embers, this is the one that's definitely it's skeletal mesh, right? So if I do embers underscore STM, right? Wow. Right. Okay. Now, the interesting thing here is, I was thinking these actually, if I delete that and I delete that, these are the base versions, right? These are the base versions of these particle systems, and inside the actual system they have been amended. Okay. So this is me basically trying to do this off the top of my head. So if I get this completely wrong, don't. We're going to say static, okay? Now, what I'm thinking here is this is not going to be a skeletal mesh location. This is going to be a static mesh location. Right, so see how we can get a static mesh location. Right, and this attach parent, right? Then what we're going to do is say static mesh. Oops, what happened there? Right, so we're going to add another one called static mesh. Okay. Now, what we want to do is have a look at that. And let's bucket that for now. Okay, we're not. What we can do is say static mesh. Okay, we can't. See, that says initialize mesh reproduction sprite. Now, is there one here for and this? This is exposed in the original. right? Now it looks like this only works on a skeletal mesh. Okay, this might need right, it looks like right, it still does this sample thing. There we go. Right, so we delete that. Static mesh location. Right, so if we look at skeletal mesh location, right, we're going to change this back to triangles. Was it actually vertices? I don't know. We can check it another one. Right, but sample that. Mesh location. Okay, we're going to let it do that. We're going to do that. Do that. Right, I'm guessing this is because we don't have a preview. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these off for now. Right. I'm going to go back to our wolf. Right. Then I'm going to add another Niagara system. Right, so we're going to duplicate that, except this time we're going to add that. Right, and we're going to say attach parent. Okay, we're going to auto activate. Compile that. But the interesting thing here is we're going to do spawn rate. We're going to go back to the original. And we're going to say 1,000. Right. Then we're going to go back to our wolf. Now you'll notice that our attached to parent is not really doing anything. No mesh assigned. Now, there must be something I'm missing here. Okay. So stand normal mesh position. Yeah, so it should be getting it for that mesh. Right, that seemed to screw things up. Right. So it doesn't seem to be now. Let's press play. I want to see if it actually is working. Oh, I'm not liking this. I think we're going to crash. Yep. Okay. You sometimes get that when you're working with the when you're working with particle systems and stuff, it kinda doesn't like it when you screw something up. Okay, well, let's see what we lost, shall we? Apparently not much. We are going to have to go back to our map, open it up. Okay. So we do have it working with the skeletal mesh, right? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's the key thing I just said there. We have it working with a skeletal mesh. The fact is that this, when we made the new one, we attached it to a skeletal mesh instead of a static mesh, right? Duh. Right? We've lost our wolf in the scene. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back in here to our wolf, and apparently we've lost our blueprint. Right? We've probably lost the code in the pawn as well. No, we haven't. Right, but basically we lost our wolf. Okay, but that's okay, right? Because we don't really we're testing something else out at the moment, right? So what we want to do is we want to look in models, and in fact what we'll do, right, is because it's in here, I'm going to create an actor, right, and it's going to be BP static test. Okay, and we're going to add a static mesh, right, and what do we have? Yeah, I like that, that'll do. Right, that's pretty big. Right, and then we'll add a Niagara system. Okay. And we're going to add that. Okay. And we're going to say attach parent. We're going to save that. Right, that's okay. Right. And that's fine. We're going to press play. And you'll notice that their fire is actually in one place. So it isn't sampling the mesh. So we're missing one key factor here somehow. Okay. See, this is the point here, the sampling type. I don't know what right to intrinsic thing does. But I don't think it's doing anything. Right, that's okay. No mesh assigned. Right, what was this? I'm going to copy that. Don't know what that did. Apparently nothing. Right, what was that again? If we select something, right, that's not actually a really good idea. Neither is that. Attached to parent. Right, so I've got to think that that's okay. But it certainly isn't. Right, because it's basically only in one place, right? It's going to crash again. Well, it is doing compile. It's compiling shaders, so. Right, there's something we're not getting right here. Rather obviously. This static mesh is causing us an issue. Okay, I'm going to have to do a quick Google on this. Okay, static mesh Niagara. Static mesh location. Right, I'm going to have a look at this after the fact. Okay, we've got a serious crash this time because this is not active yet. Right. So we're going to have to leave that for a second. So how are you guys all doing out there in YouTube land? Well, this sorts itself out. Oh, do we have action? Yeah, we do. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back to here. We're going to go to our FX. We're going to go to fire. We're going to delete this for now. In fact, what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to do this off stream. I'm going to have a look into this, the static mesh location, why it's not working, and then I'll re-implement it in this. Now, obviously, when we hit, the problem there was when we hit play, right, we still had the wolf, or at least we shouldn't have, because it actually removed it. But the wolf has got that static mesh thing on it, right? So that's not a good idea, because it's not static mesh, and that might actually be the whole problem here. Right, now the question is, where is our wolf blueprint? Right. There it's there. Now, what we want to do is get that away. Now, the other thing is to compile that, save it, and then we want to browse to it, because where is it? It's in meshes. Right. Why I put it there, I don't know. Right. It's a bit weird. Anyway, I'm gonna have to open up our test map again. Right, so we have our test map back, and we can now put in our wolf again. Okay, so we can test this out. There's our wolf there. And our code isn't working anymore, which is awesome, obviously. Right, that's okay. Did we lose the code on the pawn with that last crash? That's the question. Apparently not. Right, let's add a breakpoint. There's our wolf. Right, that's okay, we get there. There we go. Now the point of the matter is it ain't working. Right, because it's basically not doing this. So it was working before, but it ain't working now, is basically the moral of the story. I wonder if we want to if we resume that, right, so that's not right. I'm just wondering now if our particle system is broken, our extended one. Yeah, look. Right. And that's why the embers and stuff aren't working right. Right, so we just want to duplicate this and see embers. And finally, I believe it was lava, wasn't it? Right, so we just put that back in. Right. And then we go embers. And we go spawn rate. Embers spawn rate. Then we go to lava. Lava spawn rate. Compile that. Oh. So for those back in old Blighty that are interested in football, Leeds were beating Manchester United 2-0 at Old Trafford. But Rashford pulled one back and Sancho has equalised on the 70th minute. So there. Some sporting news while we're at it. Don't say you don't get your your money's worth on this channel. Right, so we've set that up again. We've done the spawn rates. Now, have we got the spawn rate set here? Yes, we have. So now, you can see that it's now working. That switches it off. That switches it on again. Okay. Now, the thing is here, the thing I'm not entirely convinced by is the flames. Right, the flames don't seem to be doing a heck of a lot. Right, it seems to be all embers. Right? Now let's go here. Right? And go to this. Flame spawn rate. Right? Yeah, flame spawn rate. But it doesn't seem to be doing a lot. Right, now. What we'll do, preview mesh, okay. If we do the wolf, alright, why are we not getting a preview? Right, why are we not getting a preview there? That is my question. Right, let's you see this? Now, we don't see that, right? We don't see that at all when it's in the game. Okay? Alright? I don't get it. So what I'm saying here is that when we fire this, we're not getting the flames on our right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 1 and 1. Okay. And I'm just going to set this to 1000. Okay. So if I hit this 8, that works. Okay. But for some reason, this is not working. Okay. So if I press 8, and it started working. Well, I don't know guys, that wasn't working before, as you saw earlier on. It was weird. That's weird, it's got to be said. Right, so we'll change this back to, well, it was actually at what, 200? And that was at 80. I would actually even pull this down even more to 100. Right. So let's take a look. Yep, that's looking a heck of a lot better. Okay. Yep. That's looking good. Right now, I wonder if we don't reset that, what difference does that make? Okay. So we switch it on. Switch it off. Actually, that little burst, the way it does that, actually suits what we want to do. Even though it doesn't make any difference, because basically we're only going to activate this once, right? But anyway, so we have a system here where we can basically start a fire, right? And this is going to be mostly suitable for our monsters, right? Because basically you've got to set them on fire to actually kill them, right? So this was all for use with our monster, right? So we've already got NS body fire on it, but what we're going to actually do is switch on NS body fire X, okay? And what we shall do is in our event graph, in here, we've got this now, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to activate right now off stream, guys. After this stream, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at the static mesh thing, so that we can do that, because I really want that to be, I want to get that working, because that'd be pretty cool, right? That we can burn, like you can burn like a building, or at least we can have the effect of burning building, right? So if we can do that, that would be very nice indeed. But on that, guys, if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe. I'm going to be back at 8 PM Central, which is in 4 hours time. Check out the description for links to the game's Discord, also my personal Discord where I help people out in Unreal Engine, Patreon if you want to throw a couple of bucks my way, and my previous game on Steam if you want to throw a buck my way and get a game as well. So thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see some of you again. Bye bye for now.